Good afternoon, stats class. Sorry I can't be there today. This lesson is on significance test for slope. So yesterday we did confidence interval, and we want to do a significance test. And so again, we're looking at the data from absences versus grade. So first part of significance test is to state our null and alternative hypotheses. So we're going to do that first. So our null hypothesis is going to be that beta equals 0. Because if there's no association between absences and grades, that means the slope of the line would be 0. For our alternative hypothesis, we're going to have beta is less than 0 because the question specifically states whether or not there's evidence of a negative linear relationship. So we want to know if beta is less than 0. And then I have to define beta. Beta is the slope of the true regression line relating grades to absences. For our plan, we are doing a t-test for beta. And the good news is our conditions are already checked because we checked them yesterday. The conditions for a significance test are the same as for a confidence interval. All right, do. For the do part, we need to first find our t-score. So the formula for our t-score is at the top of this worksheet, right here. T is equal to b minus slope of beta divided by the standard error of the slope. So t equals our sample slope minus our hypothesized slope divided by the standard error of our slope. So my sample slope is about negative 1.36 minus our hypothesized slope of 0 divided by 0.6023. And the standard error of our slope, I got that from the computer output right here, just like what we used for a confidence interval yesterday. And I can see actually right next to that is my t-score, negative 2.26, which is what we actually end up getting when we divide these. Or more precisely, negative 2.258. So now for a p-value, I've got two choices for how I want to find my p-value. I could do TCDF from negative 1e99 up to negative 2.258, comma, degrees of freedom 19. Remember, degrees of freedom is n minus 2, and I get 0.018. Or I could look at my Minitab output, and notice I have a p-value right here of 0.035. Now the p-value that the Minitab output gives you will always be the p-value for a two-sided test. And in this case, we have a single-sided test because we're doing beta strictly less than 0. So if I want to use this p-value, I would have to divide by 2. So my p-value, I would do 0.035 divided by 2, which gives me 0.018. So either do TCDF to find your p-value or use the Minitab output. And make sure you divide by 2 if you're doing a single-sided test. And then make sure that we also note our degrees of freedom. Again, 21 minus 2 is 19. All right. And then finally, our conclusion then. Because the p-value of 0.018 is less than alpha equals 0.05. We reject the null hypothesis. And therefore we have convincing evidence of a negative linear relationship between number of absences and grade. Alright, and I want you to finish the remainder, last two problems on this packet on your own.